All right. So let's get into it. How are you doing today? Now we have to re-talk about everything we just talked about.
I'm peachy keen, living the dream.
Yeah, that's good. Are you living the dream?
Yeah, it's the time.
God damn it! They just hit a fucking hype train. Are you guys kidding me? Well, that doesn't matter. Thank you guys. Anyway, yeah. So you were saying before you're a waitress and then you also make Hallmark cards, right?
Like I put them out in Walmart and get yelled at by middle-aged women. It's
Oh,
really great.
wait. You put them out, or you? So are you like a vendor for Hallmark? Is that what you're telling me, or did you actually make the cards?
Oh, I am not that creative. I'm a vendor. It's great.
That's all right. I used to do that too. I used to do resets for Stop and Shop, Walmart, and was it A&P, Wallbounds, all that stuff. Pathmark. Yeah, I used to do resets for all them back when I was a young man, 20 years old. Now I'm an old man.
Go.
So, so what are you doing? Are you doing anything? Are you working on anything or?
Um, so I just graduated from college.
Okay.
I'm kind of going through like a minor life crisis right now, but like slowly getting my life together to do what I went to college for.
What
Um,
was that you
I'm
went to
I'm
college for?
musical theater major,
Mm-hmm.
so basically a really great financial choice.
It's a little. That
Um,
could be a little rough.
a little bit. I mean, my plan was to move to New York next month, but because of, you know, COVID, I can't
Yeah,
really
move
move, and
move
there's
to
like
New
no
York.
auditions happening.
Oof, I'm moving out of New York.
We're just switching, man,
Oh
because
yeah.
I want to live there so bad.
I don't. It's expensive. I can't. It's too much. I figure I'm gonna make the same amount of money regardless of where I live. So,
Yeah,
that's my. I mean, that's just my perspective on the whole thing. So,
it's
how
just
that?
that's where like the theater scene is, man.
Oh yeah. I guess that's New York City. See, I don't live in the city. I live on the outskirts. So, my chat wants to
Oh,
know
yep,
how
that
old
would
are
do
you?
it.
My chat wants to just know how old you are.
I'm 21. I'm turning 22 next month.
Oh, okay. I thought you. Okay. What do you have? Like an associates or
There's
a bachelor's? Okay, that makes sense. Everybody's just being such a dick in the chat. That's good. So, um, I actually have a question. I don't know if you're up to date on this stuff. Do you know what's going on with Gothic? Only because it's like LGBT related.
yes,
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
ooh, and it is. Oh, it's so messy, man. It's just something that's really messy and kind of, I don't know, feel on the whole situation
Mm-hmm.
entirely because, you know, I do like I feel for her because like we've gone through like kind of the same thing with like people online. So like I totally feel that. Um I kind of do understand that it came out of a place where like she didn't understand that she was like being harmful in that way and people are just like totally trying to cancel
Well, what
her
did she do?
because they want to.
What? Cause she just said
I
that
guess
a peepee belongs to a man or something, right? Or a peepee is a
but
masculine thing. Is that what she said?
I think it was because she used kind of like a quote unquote like dog whistle that people use, which is like using the phrase like male genitalia, like applying gender to physical genitalia.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that was what upset people mostly
Mm-hmm.
because it's like something that I guess people like J.K. Rowling use.
Yeah, I know she's like a turf, right? J.K. Rowling is as a turf. Yeah, she.
Yeah.
But I don't think that gothic is. I get what she's saying. We'll say like a penis is generally a male genitalia, right? I mean, you can have a lady wiener. That's fine. But like
You
usually it's.
know,
I think what was she talking about? She was saying that like if you, I think something to do with like you might be you're a little gay if you like um, penis is what she kind of said, right? Is that what she said?
I don't think so. I don't, if that was what it was, I didn't see that part.
Oh,
I
okay.
just saw like her apologizing for something and then using I would relate to it because I have not been very up to date on TikTok.
Yeah, me too. I only saw like her post that's like a wall of text. That was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Whatever she said couldn't have been that bad. It's. Are you frozen? Bad start, guys. Let's see. Did she disconnect? Oh, Gabby disconnected, guys. My goodness. My goodness, guys. Gabby disconnected. I should be modded. Who the hell are you? Sirs, but you disconnect every game. You want to be modded? I mean, actually, maybe. All right. It's twerk time, guys. Since we have a little bit of... You did hit me a tier 1 thing, so I'm going to give you guys a quick twerk while Gabby's reconnecting. If she does... If not, I guess not very poggers, guys. But whatever, we're going to have to get the twerk in. It's a mid roll, guys. Look, you can see it nice and big on here, right? We'll twerk till she gets back. We're not doing that. Gabby, come back. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll give it a couple minutes, guys, and then if she doesn't come back, we might have just nay-nayed ourselves. I'll put the summons and alerts back on for now. What the hell are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, guys? That was very upsetting. I was having a nice conversation. Let's see. Do questions? What questions you guys want me to ask here? By the way, thank you so much for the sub. Hot, wet garbage. What the hell? Holy shit. I think she's coming back, guys. Hey! I'm not frozen. I was just looking down at the ground. I think you're unmuted, by the way. I think you're muted, by the way. Gabrielle, you're muted there. Wait, put me back on the other side. Oh no! 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 Whatever. He'll switch sides.
Does it work?
There we go. You're good.
I don't know what's going on with my laptop, but every single time I do anything on it, it totally shits the bed.
Oh well, that's not good. Oh, are you on your phone now?
Yep.
Okay. Really quick, guys. Is the audio good? They'll tell me in like a minute when they. Well, not a minute, like 10 seconds if the audio is good. It's all right. I got to twerk for them, so.
There we go. We took a brief intermission.
Thank you, Jay Walker, for the sub. All right, so they're saying everything's good. So, where were we at? We were talking about Gothic, and then she had said something about how, like, a penis was, like, male genitalia.
Yeah.
Well, the way I interpret that is she's just saying, like, that generally speaking, like, you know, it is, right?
Well, for the most part, but also, like, you know, some people, like feel as though that is a little bit transphobic in regards to, like, when people are transitioning and they aren't, like, fully post-op,
sure,
it could kind of seem as though like people are being invalidated in regards to like their gender identity.
I get that,
but I don't think that was her intent behind it.
No, I don't think so either. I think anybody who knows Gothic, that's her intent. It's not her intent, but I would say, like, I understand that, right? I understand the idea of, like, trans women having a, you know, I don't think it's invalidating to have a penis. But then, like, do you think that there's, oh, I should probably maximize the stream here. Do you think that there's, like, a level of truth to people, like, pandering a little too much to people? Like, the fact that we're having a meltdown over, like, these poor choice of words, it seems a little, like, we just harassed a young girl, a young LGBT girl over, like, not being super sensitive to somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a little messed
up.
Like,
it gets to the point where, like, some things feel like it's way too over, like, too many people are, like, talking about it and sensationalizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it's not really being used as a way to actually like help anyone learn or like understand why people are like feeling that way. It's more just like to make someone feel bad and ultimately like try and cancel them.
Right, yeah. Well, because people think it's fun to cancel people.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's great.
That's what I think. I just got my account banned for for making a joke about a non-binary person.
Oh god.
It's unbanned. They got unbanned the next day. It got permabanned, then it got unpermabanned, and then it got put to.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. It took a day. It was this young non-binary individual, and like she made she said all straight people were a disease. So I made a joke that was like, oh well, but look, the STD rate in the LGBT community is higher. So I was like, is this you? Obviously, a little bit of a dig. And then she had her followers to like spam report me until my page got pulled down.
Oh god.
And I know it was an insensitive joke,
Right.
but it's like,
It sounds like why would you try and get someone's page permanently banned?
yeah, no, they didn't like it very much. And I've been doing my best to make sure that I gender them correctly because they're non-binary. But
Right.
it's just so silly. My thing is like I understand like the whole dynamic behind like, well, you're in a press group, so like whatever, your words have less value. But like still, if you're gonna make a joke about how all straight people are diseased, and I feel like some people like believe this thing now, then
Right.
it's like, you're asking for it. Not to be rude, but you're asking for me to come back at you a little bit.
Right. Like it's like the kind of idea of like how people like to generalize things in a way. And like I feel like a lot of people do it, like myself included. I love to generalize
Sure, yeah.
because who knows? It just people like sensationalize generalizing and they prefer generalizing because they're able to kind of like choose someone to be angry at. Because I feel like people are just constantly driven by being angry at other
Oh
people
yeah.
online.
It's sad because the generalization in this case of like all like for instance like all straight people are a disease. I feel like most straight people are okay with LGBT people. So the
Most of the
generalization isn't
time.
even like positive. It's not even like the right generalization.
Right.
Because they could have just been like, oh, all homophobes are just a disease, and nobody would care except for
Right,
homophobes.
exactly.
you know. Um,
Right.
so yeah, apparently there's a shooting outside the White House. I just heard about that.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they said Trump got evacuated. I didn't even know that.
That's insane. That's oh god.
Yeah, let's see. Trump evacuated from briefing after shooting outside White House. Very interesting. Huh. Oh.
Interesting.
Are you a Trump supporter?
No. No, no, no.
No, not at all. You don't like Trump?
No, my family does, but I don't.
Yeah, really? Like your mom, dad?
Mm, my mom does. My dad is a he lives in Switzerland, so he kind of just like laughs at American politics.
Okay, right. Is he from Switzerland or is he just moved there?
Yeah, he's from there. Then he like came here for a hot second and then he like yeeted back over there. He was like I can't deal with Americans anymore.
Does your mom live with them, or are they like separated or something? Not that.
Oh
Not.
no, they're like they don't talk at all.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. No, I'm in a similar situation. Of course, that was an insensitive question, but
No, honestly, it's totally fine. I think it's funny now. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have thought it was funny, but now I can laugh about it.
there you go. That's not too bad. See, my dad wasn't around at all, so like I never really cared about the jokes. It was always like a funny like, haha, my
Right,
dad,
exactly.
my dad doesn't love me. It is funny. Like it is funny.
I mean, yeah,
Who really cares at this point, though?
honestly.
What the hell was I gonna ask? Well, somebody wanted to know how long your eyelashes are.
How long are my eyelashes? I don't even know. I just pick the longest ones and I put them on because I think they look good.
Well, they look nice. Do you pick them? Is that what you guys do? You glue them on?
No, they come on like a strip, and then you like put the strip on your eye.
Are
with
those like
glue.
magnetic ones?
Oh,
Or
I wish
no?
that'd make my life so much
I
easier.
heard.
These are the glue ones.
Oh, I heard they had magnetic ones. I don't really know though.
Yeah, the magnetic ones kind of freak me out. It's like putting magnets on my eyes just feels like something that's not right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Imagine it just started pulling like your pupil up. That'd be bizarre.
I know. That's what I'm scared of, man.
That'd be so weird. You never know the way the body reacts to stuff. It's so weird. Um, so let me ask you a question. Do you think it's a little bit gay to want to date a trans woman with a penis as a man?
Wait, what?
Do you think it's a little bit? Do you think it's a little bit gay for a man to want to date a trans woman with a penis?
No.
No, you don't think so?
No,
Why
because
not?
trans women are women.
Sure, no, no, sure, I get that. But if they have a penis, you don't think that there's any association with that penis?
Well, like unless someone's like actually like going after someone for that sole reason, then no.
Well, but even then, like I mean, like a fully straight guy is not going to be into a penis. You think that they would?
You never know, man.
I say no. A fully straight guy, I don't think would ever be into a penis.
I don't
I
know.
don't think so. I think that there's something to be said about the dynamic because I feel like women dating trans men, it's not as much of an issue. I haven't really met I've talked to a lot of women about it and recently and like they don't really care about genitalia.
No.
But like men do. And I think that there's like a level of it is just like purely like, oh, I'm straight, I don't want to touch a penis. And I think part of it could be something to do with like masculinity.
Right.
Where like men feel like it's like an actual guy fully and it's like a mental fragility thing.
Yeah. No, I think that's like 100% a thing because like I feel as though men are constantly feeling as though, or at least from my perspective, feeling as though they can't like be remotely like feminine in a way, or it
Sure,
makes
yeah.
them kind of seem as though they're gay.
Oh yeah, like
And
it's
for
still a
some reason,
bad.
that's like a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a bad word to guys. I think it's like a societal thing because for me, I don't care. Like, what is anybody gonna say to me? I don't care. But like, I feel like some people it's just like the fact that they don't like the genitalia. But then other people, it's like they feel like they don't want to get harassed by society, and like they feel
Right.
like that's gonna like ruin their life. They're not gonna be as much of a man, and then like that being a man is gonna like reduce their status by some for some reason, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
But I think there's definitely a part of that there. Um, but I still think it's a little bit like I myself like I've talked to trans men, trans women, and men, and like I don't care, but I think it's a little bit not straight, you know. And I would say that like because
Yeah.
one of the narratives from the LGBT community, some people is like, oh, gender roles shouldn't matter. So like, why does it matter if it's a little gay? You know what I mean? Like why
Right.
it feels like everybody thinks being gay is like a bad word because even as we talk about it now, we say look, it's invalidating to trans people. I interpret it as like where we still all think that being gay, at least a gay man, is a bad word.
Right.
Because God forbid it's like a little gay to be like a trans woman. Like, who cares? You know.
Right.
And I feel like if we part of me is like if we keep telling trans women like I don't know, for me it feels like some trans women, and I don't think it's all of them, but I think some trans women really want to be so normal, and I don't mean normal in like an invalidating way because like we're all abnormal in some way, but like they want that normal stereotypical straight guy to actually be into them when like I feel like to an extent that's not going to be the case, you know.
Right.
And like it's not an easy thing to talk about or say, but
Right.
that's what it kind of seems like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know. I feel like people who want to like apply these ideas of like gender norm onto like sexuality and such, it's just like I don't know. I just feel as though gender doesn't really exist and it really only exists because we make it exist in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well, like
even
it's a
in the
social
community as
construct.
well though. Well, yeah, exactly. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like even in the community as well, like people love to push like this stereotypical like traditional gender norms, even like within same-sex couples. And it's just like
Yeah, I see
no.
it. Like you usually have like the more masculine lesbian woman, right? More
Right,
feminine gay man.
exactly.
Um,
Right.
but to your point of like social construct, like of course, like yeah, of course, gender is a social construct, but like really everything is a social construct. Like we could change the meaning of words, you know, like milk could
Yeah.
mean dog poo if we wanted it to. So I would say
Right.
like where we derive gender norms from is just biology and really just history. And like I understand the shifting gender norms, but do you think it's a
Right.
good thing to completely deconstruct them? Because I am like totally on board with changing gender norms. I'm totally fine with like deviating away from like the nuclear family and where like the dad runs the household. That's fine. But you don't think that there's something to be said about the gender norms in general? Because like in an idealized society, like yeah, sure, we had no gender role norms or anything. Like trans people wouldn't feel so beat down psychologically. But is that practical nowadays? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I mean, I think as it's like even now like a lot of people are pushing for more of like something that is just neutral and
Mm-hmm.
people are able to kind of like choose what they want to do. I just feel as though it's more of something that is not socially like accepted
Mm-hmm.
to like do, like to not just like stick with one sort of identity, like one sort of like gender
Is there a
identity.
ghost in
No, someone just opened the door.
there? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing a live stream.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a burglar.
No, it's my mom.
Oh, okay. Where was I? What was I gonna say? Oh, I get what you're saying. What do you mean by choose though? Like at a particular age or just in general?
No, I mean like when people are like doing when we're like what's the word for it? Like I don't want to say like experimenting, but for lack of a better word, experimenting with different like aspects of gender and different ways to express gender in a way,
Mm-hmm.
or just doing things that aren't stereotypical like to men or women or what society like expects of people.
Mm-hmm. I get that, but I feel like because here's the way, and I look at it very like logically and factually, and I understand the validity of trans people, and this isn't like something to invalidate people. I think I'm just like very blunt. In perspective, it seems like people who don't choose their or don't have an identity, we'll say like gender dysphoria, they tend to be happier overall. And to me, it suggests that somebody that is trans generally is unhappy, and part of that's with their gender choice. And if we could get people to align, and I'm not saying we can with trans people, but I mean, just generally speaking, it makes more sense to get people to align with a particular gender because it seems like when they don't, it's very confusing. And I'm not saying we should force trans people to align. I just mean like that's just my justifier for having gender norms, if that makes sense. Like I'm
Right.
not for deconstructing gender norms. I'm fine with people living outside of those gender norms, but I'm not for
Right.
deconstructing it because I think that generally speaking, we should try to raise people in a way that causes them to want to identify with their uh, cisgender, right? Because it's less confusing for them, and they tend to live a happier life.
Right.
And then if they
No,
deviate
I
from that norm, we
understand
should
that.
totally accept them. But you understand what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's just my perspective on it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So like I just feel like we're getting so into this whole idea that like we should just completely deconstruct gender when it's like a very like an nth of a percent of people are the ones who are identifying, and like it seems like to me it would be a little bit caustic because now it gets to this point now where we have this there's people where like let's say you have a young boy and it's like oh I like Barbie dolls or something or like I like Moana, let's use Moana because Moana's nice, I like Moana. And it's like, oh, okay, like maybe the kid goes into the store and sees a Moana doll and they want it. Like if it was me, I would just get my kid the Moana doll. But then you have these parents that are like, oh, you like a girl thing, so let me just give you all girl stuff.
Mm,
And to me, that's very caustic because I think that a pattern of not affirming a particular gender role can lead to have your kid to identify like as trans in a way. You can
right.
manufacture that because a lot of it's environmental when it comes down to being trans. And I like again, if my kid was trans, it is what it is. I'm gonna love my kid, but I would want them to not be an outlier because an outlier in any capacity can be very distressful on anybody, and not just being trans. Anything,
Right.
not having a pinky toe, like anything.
Right. You know.
That really throws your balance off. But you know what I'm saying? And I know it's a hard thing to talk about because people will say that's very transphobic. But I just feel like we should all try to be as normal, not that we're normal, as possible. And then when we deviate, we should be accepted in society rather than being pandered to.
Right. Like in a way of like having it being pushed onto people.
Yeah, for sure. Be-
Yeah, which I don't necessarily agree with that either because sometimes it does feel as though it's like very much like I'm trying to push this onto someone or I want this to be a certain way, like especially with some parents.
mm-hmm.
Like cuz we all like understand like that people who tell their children like no, you can't wear makeup if they ask to wear makeup are like kind of sort of like jerks in a way. I mean, I wouldn't judge how like they raise their children, but like if someone asks like once like can I like put makeup on like and they're a kid like they just want to play around in it and like put colors
I
on their
think
face.
I think I would say no though. Honestly, like, if
Really?
my young boy, if my 6 year old's like I want to use makeup, I'd say no. If my kid was like 12, I'd say maybe at home, but not at school. And when there's,
Right.
you know what I mean? I know it's weird, but also kids are really mean to each other in school, and like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I would just say, okay, that's a girl's thing. Like, no, you can't do that. You know,
Right.
I don't think it would make me a terrible parent. And then like, listen, if they got older and they're like, no, I still love it. I'm like, well, okay, my kids likes makeup. It is what it is. That's fine. But my thing
Right.
is when we go through the developmental stage, if I can avoid that abnormality, I would want to. And if I can't, then oh well, it is what it is. I'm not gonna hate my child.
Right.
It is fine. You know. but that's just the way
Right.
I look at it. I'm not gonna
Exactly.
beat them. That's terrible. Jesus, that's awful.
Jesus Christ. But that's how it is. Some like,
No, it
oh
is.
god,
It's
some
sad.
people are just like, uh, especially like because I live on the I like for my majority of my life I lived on the East Coast and then I moved to Wisconsin
Hmm.
for college, and the dynamic of like how people like treat just like even the idea of LGBTQ people is completely different
Hmm.
because it's very much like there's not a lot of people who are like open about that stuff out there, and then like it's a lot more common for people to just be openly against that. It's like it's crazy to me,
Yeah,
but
it's like a whole
ultimately
other
it's
world.
like yeah, it's like really scary to like go to places and just realize that they're not really ideal for a lot of people.
Hmm. Yeah, I get that. Like in a lot of these southern areas, they're not very. A lot of these areas where it's very bubbled, you know. When you're forced to deal
Yeah.
with people, it's like totally different. Like again, I live in New York, and it's just like constant. There's just everybody's there. You know, we even
Right.
there's lots of people who are like racist and sexist and transphobic out here, but they're not like actively. I know it's weird,
It's
but they're just like, eh. It makes me feel
it's like
icky.
subtle.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily I don't agree with it, but it's like it's progress. You know, you just don't want to be around a gay guy. I mean, it's not, better than causing an act of violence. You know,
Right.
not that it's right, but that's like the worst of it out here that I've seen.
Yeah, I'm not really nothing at least out here that has been like super off-putting.
That's good. That's in Wisconsin. You said not that off-putting.
Wisconsin was very
Oh,
off-putting,
so
but
you're back.
yes, I'm back now, thank God.
That's good.
Yeah, I was moving my stuff out last week from Wisconsin. I was like, I am definitely not going to miss this place very much.
Were you doing? You did theater school in Wisconsin. You think
Yeah.
you think they'd be okay with gay people? I feel like that's like like a gravitator there. And being
You know, you'd think
theaters.
so, but no, they're like, "Oh yeah, my like gay friend," but like secretly definitely judging everyone.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess it's progress. That's all I can say. That sucks
For
though.
something.
That's uncomfortable. That's why I'm
Those
fine
are
wherever I
things.
go, really.
Right.
Because I'm conservative showing, and then like I'm more liberal centered. So like I'm fine. I'm not an
Right.
oppressed group.
No one's gonna yell at you.
Yeah, right. No, I'm fine. I can go anywhere. I'm set for like life. So, my chat
You
wants me
know.
to ask you about Joe Robe. What do you think of Joe Robe? You don't have to be mean, or you could just tell me what you really think. If you like him, that's fine. I'm just curious what you think. What do
I
you?
do like Joe. I really
You
do
too.
like John.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
right, John Robert or something, right? He puts that all over his stuff.
Yeah. I do like him. I just think sometimes like and I do think it's a lot of people too like it's just things happen at such a like fast rate with things
Mm.
that we feel like a need to just like respond to them right away. And I mean, I've done that as well numerous times, like just jumping on something and saying something that was really stupid and then regretting it a lot later.
Are you saying that his takes are too intense right now?
um I agree with some of them, but I don't agree about like the way that he goes about them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, he's kind of. I don't know. You know what? My two issues with Joe Rober. One, he takes criticism very poorly.
Right.
He melts down, and I think the other one is the fact that like he said like it's fine that he's a male feminist or whatever. It's even fine that he. I mean, it's not fine that he hates men. I don't think he hates men, but he doesn't necessarily care about men's issues. But then like he pretends that he does, and then like it shows in his content that he doesn't.
Right.
And that's like my kind of. But my bigger issue really is that he has like no, he doesn't want to hear any accountability for anything he says. Like he doesn't like
Right.
criticism. He has like 5 comments a video, and they have like 1 million views, and it's like, come on,
Oh yeah, because I think he turned did he turn his like whole comment section off or is it just friends only right
just
now?
friends. Yeah, you have to be his
Oh.
friend, and he blocked me
I
on
thought
every
he
account. So
I thought he put it back on like
no,
recently, unless I'm
I don't think
mistaken.
so.
I probably haven't seen any of his new stuff then.
He's just been putting out really angry videos lately. Like he's
Ooh.
like not angry, but it's like I just the stare into the Joe Rope stare, and then the like this is wrong for this reason, and he's missing half the time. his content
Oh,
got worse. He used to be good. Well, not good, but he used to be like on track, I would say. But now it's just like he just swings at whatever popular videos out there. And I think it's because TikTok has just taken a hit over the past week. Like, Trump threatened to ban. People went back to work, so nobody's really watching. And then they did this weird algorithm shift that like doesn't really. It's bizarre. And now he's just like, oh, I found this. Like, be really angry on these on video reviews, and like it'll hit. And it feels
yeah.
like he's getting sucked in.
Yeah, that's kind of what TikTok is promoting right now anyway to like everyone. Like that's all the stuff that's like getting the most views, at
Yeah.
least in this point in time. And it's like it's that's fine. But like I just don't like to see a lot of people yelling.
No, you don't like that. You don't think it's
No.
fun?
I'm not a fan of yelling and that's just what my entire for you page is.
Is it you have like all like you have progressive TikTok on your for you page?
No, actually today I was on PaleoCon TikTok for some
Oh
reason.
wow! I haven't been on I haven't been on any political TikTok in a long time.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
I follow too many people back, and like they
There you
all
go.
like Jonathan Moss. You know who Jonathan Moss is?
No.
Madison Beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're friends. Yeah,
What?
yeah. Well, not really friends, but we're friends on TikTok.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not really friends. That would be
We're not like
insane.
we're
No, she just follows me on TikTok. I follow her back. And like it just shifts your algorithm so much every time when like you follow
right.
somebody. So now I'm getting weird stuff. I mean, I've been banned, so I
Yeah,
don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just being an
that's
idiot
what
lately.
mine's doing. It's being annoying for the past month.
Yeah, it seems like they're doing like a weird thing. Maybe they're trying to push like smaller users up. I don't know.
I don't know. It's really odd. But it's cool. I'm just sitting in the shadow ban land, live my best life.
I think that everybody feels like they're shadow banned. I don't know if we are or if it's just like the bad
It's just
algorithms.
I don't know. I feel like it's a mixture of both. Cause like I will start like getting views, but then I'll stop getting views after
Mm.
like 24 hours.
Yeah, it's weird. It takes like I heard something where it's like takes a long time to get a hit, and then on my alt account, I put something about the vegan teacher, and it got 4 mil in a day, and I'm like, what is it?
Right.
It's very
Like,
weird.
like what is happening with my algorithm?
I don't know. TikTok is I feel like dying.
It really is.
There's nothing that's gonna. I mean, like we're all just gonna go back to Instagram, honestly.
Yeah, that's where everyone I think is going to, at
Because
least
Byte's
when
not it.
everything is synced down. No,
It's not it at all.
no, it is just not the same.
No, it's like worse and like weird.
Yeah, and there's just not enough cool things on there. It's just
Yeah.
you take a video of yourself and that's it.
Yeah, I might as well use Instagram Reels. I made one Instagram Reel.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like weird. It's like lesser to TikTok, but it's on Instagram, so it's like kind of streamlined, so it's okay.
Oh,
So it's okay. Yeah, whatever.
whatever it is.
Everyone wants me to ask you what do you think about Nick Foster jokes? Uh, I'm I'm assuming you're not a fan.
Not really.
No, not a big fan of him.
No.
No, you don't like. He's okay. He's okay. I think he's okay. You know, I think it's because I
Okay.
can see like where his jokes are coming from. Because if I was really edgy, that's what I would do too.
Right.
And I know
I just
I don't think he hates people. I just think he's thriving off of the hate, and like it's just funny to him, and like he doesn't take himself seriously, and that's where it comes from. But he can say some
yeah.
like he says like some stuff that's like, most of it's like noise. I know that there was a big one with like that was Joe Rogan's 8 mil hit, where it was like he
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about what was it like I don't want to say any bad words, but like he was talking about like tying down women and do you know where that? Like, I'm assuming you didn't like that at all. I thought it was very uncomfortable. I made a video on it too. I was like, I just, it came to mind. But do you know where it came from? Do you know why he said that?
Oh, yeah, I do. It was from that one video of that girl who said that like they were gonna kill all the men and like have children. I think that was what
Yeah,
it was.
I think her thing was Euphoria or something or something, and like she made a lot of like anti male content, like really hateful. She was a very
Oh
small
god.
page, but she kept coming up. I got tagged in a lot of her stuff. I stayed away from most of it because it was just like, it's one of those things where like if I make a video about you, like I don't hate you, but if I don't make a video about you, it's like I don't want you to get like Like I didn't want her to get any traction because it was bad. Like she was very hateful. And I know Nick saw
Right.
that, and then he made, and it was basically like, oh, we could just like, it was very hateful, anti-male, like we could just not stop procreating with men, and then I saw that, and my first thing was like, oh yeah, this would be like a reaction. I was like, nah, I don't like assault jokes. So my joke was like, oh, then we'll just sleep with trans men. That was my joke, and then Nick Foster just out of context made that video, and it was like, oof. I watched and I was like, oof, like
Ooh,
in his
God.
defense, it was as, I don't want to say the word tasteful, but it was as like tasteful as it could have been. If that makes sense. It was really bad though because you really can't make
Yeah,
that joke tastefully. But like
no.
it was like the words spoke for themselves, but he didn't add any like aggressiveness onto them.
Right.
So
It was just. I just don't think it was a. It landed right. I don't think it landed right.
yeah, it was a little rough. It didn't sit with me the right way. Um, but dark humor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I didn't like it, but I got where he was coming from. That's what my thing was. Like, I understand, like, the logical chain is like, oh, if women said, like, in a fantasy world, that will never happen. If women said, we're not going to make babies with you, like, as humans, people just want to propagate. They just want to make more babies. So, like, I get where he was coming from, but it was like, ugh. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wasn't my favorite take.
No. It was definitely one that I saw very frequently, even though I cannot see his videos.
Oh, did you block him too?
Yes.
All right, that's fair. You know what? You don't have to like his content. My thing is only when like if you're a political person and like you block other political people, that's what like it's like weird. But he's not really. People say that he's not political. He's just a,
Yeah, I don't understand why people think he's political.
yeah. He doesn't think he's political.
No.
He's just chilling. He's just doing his thing. He's just making content.
I feel like it's because people keep pulling him into the political TikTok sphere.
Yeah, and then he'll make like jokes on maybe political videos, but they're not really political jokes.
Right.
So I don't think he's political at all. We're
No.
friends on TikTok, And so are we. Me and well,
Yeah, we're friends on
I'm
TikTok.
friends with everybody on TikTok.
Yeah,
Even
there you go.
Tyler Blunt. Oh, Tyler Bluntman. I gotta ask because I don't know what's going on. I don't really know the guy. Oh,
Oh
and somebody
God.
just asked about Tyler Bluntman as I asked you. Yeah. What is that? Because like all I know is he makes some stuff, and he seems like he's like bordering the line between politics and trying to be funny.
Yeah, he is just, I don't know, man. He is probably just really, really unfunny, and I don't like to think that I'm very funny, but he has been making the same joke for the past month about me, and I'm like, dude, it's just because it's so old to the point where like it's just bad. It's like it's uncomfortable too.
What joke is it that
And
he's making?
he's just like, technically I did set myself up for it. However, he was referencing a video where I was doing one of those e-girl thought whatever the Christ to this song that someone in political TikTok wrote
Mm-hmm.
called Tyler Bluntman is a ball.
Okay.
So then I said, why don't we all rub Tyler Bluntman's bald head and see if a genie pops out?
Mm-hmm.
And as we can clearly see, I did not specify. So that is
Oh,
what
okay.
just.
So he was like, "Oh, it's yeah, his genitals." And what was the joke he
Hmm.
made then? Was it like an assault joke? Did he be like, "Oh, you're talking about harassing me" or something? What did he say?
No, I don't even know what it. I don't remember the video at all. But he was like, "Gabby, stop playing," like, and then just kind of was like, "Give me fellatio, man."
Would you go on a date with Tyler Blutman?
No,
Is it because he's black?
no.
Wait, are you into black guys?
My
I'm just
ex-boyfriend was.
oh, okay. So you
Yeah,
not anymore is what you're telling me. You're not into black guys anymore.
yeah. I just broke up with him, and
I
it
was like, yeah, it's
was
not
that
for
was
me.
it.
Not just a fetish, just a phase.
Oh my god.
That's fine. No, I know he's a little. Some people on TikTok they get caught in like this, and it happens to everybody. It's happened to me before, where like you're trying to hit traction and like it's not working, and then you unintentionally get like a little more intense than like you want to be, and then like you just take the ball and you're just running with it, and all of a sudden you're just like a mirror of yourself, an image of
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, we all been there. It's very weird. TikTok's very toxic, just in that sense.
Oh yeah, 100%. I have taken a lot of breaks actually over the past month, which has been very helpful.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's
People
just
get like
it's just
addicted.
too much sometimes.
They get addicted to it.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Like, you spend too much time on it and then you get frustrated because like nothing's getting any views, and then you're like, well, I'm gonna take a break for like a week.
Yeah, then you put something stupid up and it hits.
Yeah, exactly.
Like something dumb. It's like why? Why did
Oh
that
yeah,
hit?
exactly. Something that took you 2 seconds to film, and it's like, well,
Yeah, yeah, yep, yep. That's what it is. You put all the effort in the world in some stuff and it just doesn't hit. It's crazy. It's always
it's
like the
insane.
random ones. Yeah.
Oh yeah, or it's something that's old that like you don't even believe in anymore, and then it just goes into the algorithm 6 months later.
Yeah, right. And then all of a sudden, like something that's not even you anymore is like pumped through.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I made a
no.
video on Joe Biden like 6 months ago, and
Well,
for some reason that video decided to get views now.
was it about how handsome he was?
Yes, 100%.
He's not bad looking.
No, he's not. When he was younger, he was very attractive.
He's not bad looking now. He's just old. He's a little
He's just
ignorant
a little
though.
forgetful.
Are you gonna vote Joe Biden?
Yes, I am actually,
That's fair. I understand why.
because I feel as though I must. It is my civic duty.
Yeah, we're kind of there. I still haven't decided because my view on it, like first and foremost, and I'm just gonna say I had spoken with like another content creator a long time ago, and they made this point, but is that like I'm white, so it doesn't matter who I vote for. Like Trump's not gonna Trump's not gonna really hurt me, you know. So like almost straight, almost straight, but like I don't care. So like he's not gonna hurt me, and so like it does for me. Historically speaking, like the same party doesn't win 3 terms in a row. So if we get him in, that means that we're guaranteed like a Democrat. And I liked Andrew Yang a lot, but I think Pete Buttigieg. I think the next big thing we need is like some kind of universal health care. And so like that's what
Right.
I'm waiting for. And like if we're not gonna get it in Biden or Trump, so like we might as well try to get it in like Pete Buttigieg. I liked his version of it. It was like opening up the public market to everybody, but maintaining private. And I think that's a nice transition forward, because I think that if we just completely eradicate the private market, it's just going to system shock us. But if we open up the public market, then one or two things will happen. Either private companies will offer a better product and stop ripping people off, or they won't, and they'll just die out. And like either way, it's a win-win to me. So that's what I'd
Right.
like to see. But 4 more years of Trump, like he was trying. My thing is like he was trying to like be good for 4 years, whatever that's worth, and now he doesn't have to. If he wins again, he doesn't have to worry about getting reelected, and
Right.
it'll be a catastrophe. It
Oh
could or it
yeah,
could be.
it'll be a dumpster fire.
Yeah, could be rough. Definitely could be rough. Um, Somebody wanted me to ask your opinion on Cam by Kill All Men, but I think I already saw your opinion. Your opinion was like, oh, we're spending more time explaining why it's a joke than actually making a statement or something. Is that what you had said about it?
Yeah, so basically, like, I don't know. I used to be someone who was very much like, yeah, we have to say this, and that's mostly because the people that like I used to be part of the liberal hype house, and a
Yeah.
lot of it was like very early stages of like radical liberalism with a lot of people. And that's just kind of not my thing. Um, but a lot of people were like, yeah, kill all men, that's gonna be great. Great thing to say because it's gonna totally do something for feminism.
Mm.
And so I did like was someone who like thought that was going to be productive, and then I realized I was spending so much time in my comment sections and so much time explaining to people that it was a joke when I could have easily been explaining things that are actually about feminism.
Right. Yeah, I get that. So the thing is like, it's not like I don't know. Like if it was a joke, I don't care if it was, but like my thing is like they'll say, "Oh, kill all men," and then it's like, "Oh, it's a joke, but we're oppressed, so we can say it," and like it's only for the bad men. And it's like, well, is it a joke or is it a social statement?
Right.
You know what
It
I
gets a
mean?
little confusing.
It just seems like unnecessary. It seems like a lot because I feel like a lot, especially young men. I feel like a lot of young men like they don't hate women and they're fine with women
No.
having more power, but then like they're young, so like when they hear "kill all men," they feel like they're being oppressed, even if they're not.
Right.
And like now that's just like it's a bunch of different young mentalities hitting each other, and like, oh, I'm oppressed in this way, because you have a lot of younger women who like haven't necessarily faced like a level of oppression, especially that like previous women have faced, and they're overly identifying with that. And then you have them being angry about it, and then hitting young men with it, and then now they're feeling oppressed by those words, and now you have a big young temper tantrum oppression contest on like
Right.
who's more upset about social issues.
Exactly.
That's what TikTok seems to be nowadays.
Yes,
Or
100%.
maybe it's always been that way. I don't know. I've only been on here for like 4 months, so
It wasn't that way at first, but maybe that was just my algorithm and the
maybe
fact
yeah.
that I was only in like a very small section of TikTok.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it probably got more toxic with as the Trump thing riled up. I
Oh
could
yeah.
imagine that.
Well, and then we had like an instance where a bunch of like super far right leaning people came to TikTok for a brief stint.
Oh, really? I must have missed that.
Yeah, that was like in I think it was April when that was.
Oh, really? I must have just like glossed over it.
Yeah, it was not a fun time. That's how small political TikTok
Yeah.
is.
See, I pretty much. I don't think I. I mean, I am political now, I guess, but like I was mostly jokes and commentary in the beginning, and like social commentary, and then then who was it? Ahmaud Bray hit, and then George Floyd hit, and then like all of a sudden, like you couldn't get away from the politics. That
Yeah,
was like my traction, my trajectory on everything.
right.
And it's like weird. It sucks you in. I just wanted to make jokes, and now I'm sitting here talking about universal basic income and marginalized groups.
God damn it.
All right? Ugh, disgusting. Who wants? Who cares? You know, we could just not care. We could be like, you know what? If you're not straight, you ain't it, and we could survive. But it's not a good thing.
We
I'm just kidding.
could be fine.
I mean, like we would. We could like do a ton of things. Like it really wouldn't matter in the long run, I guess. But like I like the idea of humanity. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
that's the fundamentals of my thing. Um, this is a I guess this is a hot question. What do you think that gender dysphoria is a mental disorder,
Do I think that gender dysphoria is a mental
or do you
disorder?
think that it should be classified as one?
I don't I don't think so, but that's
No.
also because I don't really well, it technically by definition it is, but I don't like to phrase it as such because a lot of people do apply negative connotation with that.
Sure. Yeah. A lot of people will discredit trans people because they have a mental disorder.
Right.
My thing is because I think it is. I think it's purely a classifier. Like you might if you have like OCD, you have I think I'm some mental disorder too. Like who cares? The thing is that people weaponize it, like conservatives more weaponize it the second they want a reason to discredit trans people. But my thing is like I feel like when we pull away from like because we're trying to pull away from it being labeled as a mental disorder, when we pull away from it, it seems like we're setting trans people up for like failure because now rather than embracing the logical aspect of it and just saying like yeah I'm still a person just because I have a mental illness, who cares? Because mental illnesses
Right.
exist to be treated, and the treatment method is like always going to be embracing your gender identity. So it just seems like we're setting them up for failure because now they think we're wrapping this idea around people who are trans or that have gender dysphoria. Because I know that not all people who are trans have it. That they it's not a mental illness, and then it shatters them the second somebody says it is, whether it's a
Right.
joke or not. And I feel like that's like promoting a mental fragility that I think is like
Right.
hurting trans people overall. And like I think that all identity groups are having issues like that nowadays, where like they're pandered to an extent and they're not facing like
Yeah.
the reality of it, and then now it's like you hear something and it shatters people so quickly, and it seems unnecessary because to me it's like just because you're trans doesn't mean you're a weak person, but then when you're
Right.
getting told that I wouldn't say lied to but pandered to in my opinion, it's just making you weaker mentally.
Right. Exactly.
That's the way I look at it at
I mean, I understand that. I just I feel as though it's like it's not even like just the community itself. It's more so people speaking on the community
least.
as like a way of saying like you can't like believe that or like say that in a way.
I get what you mean, like people who aren't trans being like no it's not that, and but a lot of the trans people that I've listened to, most of them seem to be like it's fine with it.
Right.
It's just like people who probably shouldn't necessarily be speaking for trans people saying these things,
Exactly.
like trans trenders.
Well, I feel as though like that's like kind of what it is now. Like most people commenting on these things are not actually like
Trans.
trans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're just people who like overly identify, like, or they're like, I don't mean to be invalidating, but for me, like, I don't know how you feel about it, but like, if I think if you don't have gender dysphoria, like, you're not trans. Like, I know there's people who identify as different genders, and I know that like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter your gender identity really makes very little difference overall. But like to me, it just seems very belittling when you have a trans person that identifies as another gender, but they have no dysphoria or distress associated with their gender identity, and they're just doing it to. It seems like to garner attention.
Right.
I find it very invalidating of like people with gender dysphoria that struggle with their gender identity and need like real help.
Yeah. I mean that's 100% understandable, I think.
Do you feel that way?
Like it,
Do you think
I
that?
mean, I think I understand. I I just I don't know cuz
You know,
I don't really like I don't like to I don't think I like words. Whenever like people who I've I can't speak, man. Words are really hard for me. Um but whenever I've had friends who have been trans and I've never like come up with a like that's never been like something that has been like something I knew about,
mm-hmm.
like if they've like had gender dysphoria or not. So I guess like I don't really know.
I get that. That makes sense. Yeah, for me, it just
Yeah.
seems like a belittling. And again, like I'm not trans, so I guess who am I? But to me, it's like why care? Like for trans people, I get it because like you have a diagnosable situation, makes perfect sense. You have like real distress associated with your identity. But for people who don't have that distress, like why do you care what your gender identity is? Like why care so much about being what you are if you don't really care enough to have like an ill a mental like or some kind of a distress. So it just seems like
Right.
you're just riding a trend for attention. And like to me, when I was younger, being bisexual was like the thing to do in high school. You had a bunch of people running around
Right.
saying I'm bisexual. They weren't. They were just looking for attention. And now it feels like this is what it is, especially on TikTok.
Right.
And then like 5 years later, they'll grow out of it.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah, that as well.
Yeah, and
That is a
yeah,
thing.
yeah, for sure. And that's just like it's uncomfortable. It's yucky.
Right? Just not my favorite thing that I see most of the time on my For You page because
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the content that is also given to me.
You really got the best content on TikTok, huh?
Oh man, it's just like just the best kind of people on my For You page lately,
That's good.
making me suffer.
Do you watch all of it? Like, what is it that you really get on your For You page?
Um Whenever I like cuz I don't really like go on TikTok cuz like if I do, I will definitely feel very badly about myself. Sometimes but when I do, it's mostly like it's like that mom who like goes after Life 360 most of the time. There's people building pools. Occasionally it's like PaleoCon TikTok where people are like posting Tucker Carlson memes.
You don't like Tucker
Um
Carlson?
no.
He's okay. I actually don't mind Tucker Carlson, and the only reason is
Apparently
he. I mean, like, listen, he's part of like the entertainment news cycle, so like, of course, there's that. But the reason I don't dislike him is because I saw him talk with Andrew Yang, and like he was very understanding and progressive about like the real issues in society right now, which are like technology displacing and taking over jobs. And then I saw Tucker talking to Ben Shapiro, and Ben was like, "Oh, well, if you live in a poor area, just get up and move." And he's like, and Tucker was like, "Even if you could do that, why are you so okay with telling people to just move across country and leave their families?" And it was like
right.
that, like it was like a real thing. Like Tucker is actually like a human being. He's part of entertainment news cycle, but like he's actually a human being to me. So I don't mind him. I don't think
Right.
he's the worst.
Right. He's not like horrible.
Like he's not like Ben Shapiro.
Oh, he wasn't there like a video of him that surfaced of him like reading the lyrics to WAP.
No, what is that? I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's like a new Megan the Stallion song, and he was reading along to it. It
I
was just
I would do
oh,
it.
it was so entertaining, man.
I would do it too. I do it too. Honestly.
He's just you know, it was good content for him, I think.
Yeah. Well, he should come on TikTok.
He really should. I think he'd get all like the conservative hype house fans.
Oh, you
Be
know,
right up his alley.
people, Ben stands are crazy. I have a third. I made a third account just for my podcast and, or like for my Twitch. So like what I do is I do political stuff. So the other day, one of my fans sent me Ben Shapiro debunking systemic racism. So I debunked his debunking of systemic racism, and like everyone's like, you're just some fat, stupid idiot. Ben Shapiro's from Harvard. What? How dare you? And I was like, bro, how are you going to be on the side that gets upset because liberals are generally smarter, and like the whole progressive angle is like, hey, we have college experience and like we're smarter than you, so we have a better say. And conservatives like, no, that's not how it is. We have more life experience to a certain extent. How do you sit there and sit on that side and then all of a sudden flip it the second some fat liberal contests Ben Shapiro? And it's like,
Right.
what world are you living in, man? It's
Well, it's like the land of double standards, dude.
oh yeah, it's anything. It's a weapon. Anything to push a narrative.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's really great when like people will point.
Looks like Gabby died again, guys. I had more questions too. Gabby died.
Did I?
Are you there?
Did I die again?
Yeah, you did. You're back.
I don't know how that happened.
We
I honestly just like looked away and it just went away.
was. Are you on your phone or are you on?
I'm on my phone.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
right.
so I don't know what happened. My phone just like totally died. I don't know. It's
Um,
great.
well, there you're back. So, what were we talking about? What the hell were we talking about? Oh, cognitive dissonance, basically.
Yeah, essentially. People just like love to like say like that, oh yeah, like this person like did this too, and you're like, yeah. Like people always talk about like how Obama made the camps on the border.
Hmm.
It's like, yes, that was also wrong.
I don't
Like
think
I'm not
so.
saying that was okay.
Listen, like I don't necessarily agree because I'm up to turn like I know what was they're talking about. So basically, like there are these camps and like people of interest. Like if there was some kind of an issue, they would separate the kids from the families, right? And they would put them into
Right.
a holding cell. And Obama did that. And like it's harsh, but like I get where he's coming from, and like it is what it is. The issue with Trump wasn't that he did that. It was that he made it so that every family for like I think he only lasted a week. Like every family that crossed the border was separated. It wasn't just people who might have been drug addicts or criminals. It was a zero
Right.
tolerance policy. And then like CNN made the mistake of using like Obama footage for that, and then that's where it came from. And everybody's like, "Oh, Obama did it too," and it's like, no, we didn't. Like he really didn't do that.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
you got to
That's
do
why it's
harsh
like,
things sometimes. So.
yeah, it's like what? I don't know. Some it's just like political TikTok is mostly like very very young people.
Yeah, they don't use their minute. I try to use my minute like as well as possible.
Oh yeah.
I try to like dump as much information as I possibly can, which is why getting rid of the stitches like pooped on me.
I know. I don't know why they got rid of the Stitch feature.
I think it's because people were just making fun of people with it.
God damn it.
It was so good too because it linked right back to the core video. It gave you like 5 seconds. It was like perfect.
Right. It's and like
So
now it's
good.
like you have to do it with a duet.
Yeah, or and like nobody really wants to watch it for some reason.
No.
But there seems to
It
be
just gets
it's ridiculous, and it seems to be like a similar like if you cut the video up yourself and put it up, it seems to be better than doing a duet. It's just something about the format. I don't know why they got rid of it. They really just hate. They just really hate me. They
I
want
know.
they want
They just don't like when people have fun.
That's it. Yeah, I was having a lot of fun. That was my feature.
That's why TikTok is getting canceled.
Yeah, honestly, I'm fine with it. Take it away, Trump. We're done with
Honestly, please just cancel it out.
it. Somebody, if I when they were gonna take it away the other day, I was like, good. Let's get rid of it. Honestly.
Yes, please. I was like, if you say psych right now, I'm gonna be upset. I'm like,
Yeah, I wrapped my mind around it. Now we have 45 days until Microsoft maybe buys it, and then we'll all be out on Instagram Reels, and nobody will care anymore. And like, it'll be what it
exactly.
is. Um,
Because TikTok is dead.
it is. Ugh, it's like an advertisement app. You should try to get people onto something else.
I know.
I've had a lot of luck doing Twitch and play. I play video games on here too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, after I do this, I'm gonna play like Fall Guys or something or Valorant and play video games with my fans.
Oh.
That's what I do. I'm just a big nerd, and it works out for me. I'm gonna have a karaoke night soon.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm
Karaoke.
yeah. It's
Lots
good.
of ABBA.
Maybe we have fun. I'm gonna try to get Not Clay. You know what Not Clay is? Nah, you don't know who he
No,
is. He's
I
just like
don't think
a.
so.
I'm in such weird spots on TikTok because like so many different weird people follow me that like I'm all over the place.
Oh yeah,
Mostly men.
mostly men.
But it's going down. I had 70% men. Now it's 65. So women are starting to get into Papa Cut, or
Ooh.
a bunch. Yeah, it's actually very uncomfortable because like it's a lot. And I'm not trying to be weird, but it's like a lot of younger girls, and it's like very weird to me.
Oh.
It's like very. They're like, oh man, I like this guy. It's like, please don't like me. Like not that I don't want you to like me, but they're too expressive about it. I see stuff in my mentions, and I'm like, oh my god.
Like ah,
It's like, yeah, this
you
is a
don't
little-
want to be you don't want to be Tony Lopez.
no, I don't know who that is, and I still don't want to be that person. Who any of those people
Yeah,
are.
you definitely don't want to be that person.
No, I don't. I don't think I do. Or like, what was it
Yeah.
Poe the comedian Poe? I don't know if it's true. I don't know if
Oh.
what it is. It's all speculative to me because I don't know. But I know that there was controversy surrounding that person for a while.
Yeah, there was, and then like someone, like people were talking about that for a while, and then among like other people,
They just stopped caring,
yeah.
pretty much. So, all right. 'Cause I got a couple. I got a couple more questions. I want one thing. Have you changed your stance on whether allies can be in the LGBT community or not?
But like, okay, so for me, the word ally means
Mhm.
that you're like an ally to the community.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
would it mean that you're inherently like in the community?
Why not though? Because my perspective is for a community that's so hyper inclusive, why not?
Well, because the community itself is separate from, um, has already always been separated from cis hetero people.
Yeah.
And so to include people within that equation who are cis het would take away the point of it in a way for a lot of people.
You know, I never
And
knew
it would
that cis
also
het mean cis. I never knew that it meant cis hetero. That's like I don't know. I always people thought that they were making fun of like, hey, you're just a cis hat, and I was like, what is a hat?
You
I didn't
cis-
het. Okay, I get it. Now. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail you.
no, you're totally fine. But it's kind of like when people are allies to like the Black Lives Matter movement. Like I wouldn't say that I'm a member of like the black community.
Sure, but that's a
Like, I'm
community that's
ally-
not hyper inclusive. That's the only difference to me.
Right.
Because my thing, because I remember you admit it's not a bad point. You made a decent point about how like allies aren't oppressed, and my thing is like we're not saying straight, or people aren't saying straight. They're just the ally is very specifically
Right.
saying like, hey, we're obviously they're straight if you're an ally. Like, what else are you gonna be? If you're gay, then you're obviously just gonna be gay in the community. But it's like
Right.
very intentionally not saying those words. But when it comes to, or it's very intentionally saying like, hey, I'm an ally. I'm not oppressed. I want to be helpful. But my thing is, and I don't know if you agree with this, the lack of inclusiveness in the LGBT community, and this is so relevant to like whether allies are included or not. But I think that there is a toxicity in the LGBT community. But the lack of
100%.
inclusiveness, I feel like, have created artificial sexualities or preferences. Like honestly, like what, like demisexual.
It's essentially spicy straight.
Yeah, and it's like you're not oppressed as a demisexual. So like the same rules apply. Like nobody's like, oh, I mean, unless your oppression is people don't want to date you in this. We have hookup culture nowadays.
Right.
But,
But
like,
that
yeah.
wouldn't necessarily be a form of like systemic oppression.
Right. Yeah, it's just a form of societal standards nowadays where people just want to bone
Right. Well, then it's like people making other sexualities which just make everything sound redundant or make overarching sexualities sound transphobic or homophobic.
out. Yeah. Right.
It's like, well, it's like bisexuality. Like people are starting to create like omnisexual, and they're
Yeah.
like, well, we date all genders. I'm like, well, isn't that the point of bisexuality, that they date two or more genders? Like,
Right. Yeah.
kind of redundant at that point.
It's almost invalidating to trans people.
right, exactly.
I
In a
get
way,
that.
it's like kind of transphobic.
It's like just like this hyper exclusive, like sapiosexual. Like why? That's not like. That's all I have to say is
Right.
I like to lick brains, and now I'm part of the LGBT community. You know.
Right. It's like kind of in a way like making people feel like they're in some way different.
Yeah. It's like this oppress the oppressor narrative, or rather,
Right.
it's like or people trying to like be very special. It's like, ooh, I'm sapiosexual. Ooh.
Yeah,
Come
it's
on.
like I get a cool label that I can put in my
Yeah,
bio.
yeah. People want to be so different, like so desperately. It's like the new thing is to be different nowadays. And I come from like an older generation, so like we don't like that. You know, like. Like,
Right.
I don't like doing that to myself. Like I don't want to be different. I want to be the same. You know, I don't care.
Right. Like I don't
Um,
really want to be like bring attention to myself in a way.
Yeah, right.
Well, and
Um,
like also people like and then people who don't even like understand the community like in a way use that to like invalidate overall experience of people and
yeah,
kind of trivializes it and makes it seem like less serious.
that's what it is. Like a lot of people who don't get it now, like now they look at aspects of it and they go, "Well, this doesn't make any sense to me, so none of it makes sense to me." For sure.
Right.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Um, I think you had made a point though once. It's probably you made a point about this gay straight no not straight. Oh my god, so many words. White gay men derailing the LGBT community. I know we had a fight about that a
Yes, we
while
did have a
ago.
fight about it.
A while ago. Do you still
We
believe
had
that, or did you like my take on that?
Well, so I totally like don't know how to use words.
Uh huh.
So like my whole overall intent was the whole thing of how the pop culture, at least today, totally credits everything in our community to white gay men,
Sure.
especially with, popular TV shows and
Like
things that are
Modern
really
Family.
right, like broadcasted. So in a way, like I feel as though that is like the real issue. It wasn't like supposed to be the way that I wrote it. It was one of those things where I was like, yeah, this sounds just the way that I need it to sound. And then after like it got views, I was like, oh no, this definitely
Yeah,
didn't communicate
I
right.
get what you're saying though. Like I think I'm lucky in the sense where like I don't know. Like I most of the takes that I put out there, like I got them nice and concise. But like I've had my takes where I'm just like, oh shit, like I did not, you thought you said, and it just it's you only got a minute, so it's hard to really get it across there.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you have to fit everything in a minute, and then like if it doesn't sound right the first time around, you have to delete the whole thing and go
Yup.
back and do it again.
Yep.
It's just
I've done it
annoying.
before. Like I've done it like 3 or 4 times, and sometimes it just gets like so crazy.
Right.
It's just
And I'm
like,
just
oh,
like, what was I even saying anymore?
it's so toxic.
Right?
It's such a toxic thing.
I'm like
Um,
trying to be interesting.
yeah, right. Um, so what are your views on? If you want me to ask you, what do you think about Roma Army?
So I think that she
It's a female Joe
originally,
Rope.
literally, I mean, she has, when she first started making videos, like when I was first on TikTok, like they weren't as bad as they are now.
Mhm.
Because I agree with her that like a lot of the issues she talks about are issues. But
Sure.
the way
Yeah.
she talks about it punches down on women, and it's like, well, this is all women's fault. And it's not really helping in any way. It's rather just causing more of a divide between people and causing people to continue to be angry at men and
Mm-hmm.
also women.
Yeah. No. It's like you said. Like it is. That's literally what Joe Rope does to men. Absolutely, I agree. 100%.
It's
Um,
just like I don't know, because she could talk about the actual issues that are at hand, which is people just in general enforcing these ideas on both men and women, and also society favoring men and women in different aspects.
mhm.
And you can talk about that without being like, yeah, this is all because women are toxic.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything is like I hate women. I. That's what
It's
it is.
all I hate women. I'm like, who hurt you? Like, what woman hurt you? I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
I feel bad. Roma Army. When I got banned, Roma Army made a video. It's like, oh, and like, she's totally a trend writer. Like, well, Roma Army's a trend
Oh
writer.
yeah.
She's like, oh, you tell Papa Gut to something that was like positive, and I was like, okay. I was like, ugh. And then I got unbanned, and then she deleted her video and she unfollowed me. And I'm pretty sure it's because I talked shit about Roma Army like 4 or 5 times. I like people think I'm very, very like the thing is a lot of people look at my content and like you're very conservative, but like my progressive stuff just doesn't hit. That's it.
No.
It just doesn't hit because progressives have blocked me. So like I'll talk about toxic femininity in some respect, and then I'll have a whole piece on like how culture is. Oh, I should have said that word. Like sexual assault culture is very real, and like but
Right.
nobody cares. They don't pick up on that. So like I think she finally saw it and then she took it down. So
She was like, well, yeah, no, she deleted a video that she tried to, because I made a video on her, I made like a few videos on her, and I was like, she still hasn't responded to me. And then like I was in the car and I was like, oh, she made a response video to me, and basically she was like, she said that what I was saying the entire time, I don't understand why you needed to make a video. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And then like the next day I was going back to like record it and respond to it, and it was gone.
Yeah, no, I saw a little bit of the you guys drama, but like it just like you said, it seemed to disappear very quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
it didn't land.
Not at all. She's an interesting. She's interesting. I don't know. I like her more than Joe Rogan because I think that she has guts more than anything else. You know, like
Right.
has bad takes, but like she stands on her bad takes mostly. I mean, deleting a video is different from banning or blocking
Right.
a whole person.
Right. I
You
mean,
know,
that's true.
so like I just can't. You know, that's I think it's just like our different value set. Because for me, like I just can't get past it from like Joe Rogan that he just blocks people. Not even just me,
Right.
because everybody finds an excuse to block me. I'm fine with it, but like everybody that doesn't agree with him, like he spam blocks everybody.
Yeah.
So many people. So I don't know. I'm just biased.
I
Whatever.
have spam blocked people, but I unblock people after a period of time
That's good. I
because
just like
sometimes the accounts get deleted.
yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I get. I the only people I have blocked on my account are people who like have like said bad things about people I duet. So I just go like
Oh yeah.
I'll watch some people's videos after I duet them and I'll block them myself or somebody will show it to me. I have people who link me bad comments and then I'll so like my community is very I have like very toxic some people, but then I have a very active community like fighting the toxicity. They'll tag me and say this okay, and then I'll block them. That's so like I've gotten good like I have a whole account that's like Papa said no hate, and then I have an account that's like someone says like an account that's like Papa said no hate, and like a whole chain of like don't be hateful. So like I've gotten that good because like I don't
Yeah.
like that part. The whole that part bothers me. Like a lot of people use my content to like weaponize it and like say things that I didn't even mean at
Right.
all and dox
Right.
people. It's gross to me.
Well, and I mean, also, like, I feel like most people who have a platform have people within their fan base that are toxic.
Oh, for sure.
And it's just like a
Absolutely.
matter of how people deal with it. And sadly, a lot of the time, people don't like to take accountability for, like, what their followers do or, like, at least call them out in a way.
Yeah, no, nobody likes to do that. I try to be very active about it, and I think it's
Yeah.
worked. I think it's worked. I honestly think that it's worked like a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy about that. I mean, there's only so much you can do, but like I get it. Like I get it. I have them pretty well. You know, pretty decent,
Yeah. Kind
pretty
of been
nice,
under control.
under control. A okay. Papa has spoken. They want me to answer you about Fat Raccoon. What do you think about Fat Raccoon?
Oh, I love Jackie.
You Jackie. Oh my god. First name. She blocked me. You can't like her. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
can't like anyone who's blocked you.
Then you can't like anybody. I'm like I don't have anything against her. Like she's just another young kid saying things that aren't necessarily helpful in some ways. And then I
Right.
don't think most of her content's like political. I think that she just happened to get wrapped up in the Black Lives Matter thing. Um,
Yeah. I
but
feel like a lot of her content went straight to political
yeah,
realm of TikTok and then it came across that way.
it was very hateful. I know that my content I don't think it's inherently hateful, but I'm a fat conservative bearded 6'4" guy, so I know that it comes off a lot worse than I want it to. But her
Right.
content is intentionally like firecracker. And I remember we had an interaction where like she had said that you can't be racist towards white people, and then I reiterated like you can, systemically you can't, but like individually you can. And then she blocked me, and then she
Right.
said that I was right, but she's blocked me because of my fans. But it's like your fans are toxic too. Her fans are awful.
Right.
So like you're gonna block me over
Like,
my fans because most of them are just saying Papa has spoken, and they get annoyed by it. I'm assuming people leave their. Do you leave your notifications on?
no, I
Oh,
don't leave my notifications on, but sometimes people will try and ratio your video.
they'll what?
They'll try and ratio your
What
video.
is that?
It's when you have an excessive amount of comments and not a lot of likes on it.
Oh yep. Yeah, a lot of people I do.
Yep.
A lot of people I do. I get that.
Yep. That was going to happen to me once, and then I did put comment filters on.
But who cares? What is it? It's all traction. Who cares?
It is interaction, but TikTok hates some of our algorithms a lot.
It doesn't mess with the algorithm. I remember I had a video. You know that liberal girl?
Yes.
Yeah, we're friends on TikTok now too. One of my first joking videos on the account was she had made a video about she was like, "Oh, please stop telling people we lost a good one when they say that when they come out as like gay or something." So all I said was like, "Oh, can we lose you?" It was a joke, and I got spammed with like butterfly death threats, and
Oh,
it was
yep.
so funny to me. But just imagine being like a 16-year-old boy who made a silly joke, and then like all of a sudden they like end yourself. And it's like, oh man, that's bad.
Yep.
It's not her fault, but I'm like, oof, like everybody's pretty toxic.
Yeah. Oh, have you encountered the JC stands?
JC, who's that? Jesus
The
Christ?
Jesus Christ.
No, I haven't.
They're so bad.
Are they that bad?
I made them really upset. Um, I don't know if you've seen that video, but I basically that guy David Ladding, who always cries on camera when he talks about
I know you're talking the blonde kid.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he literally like invalidated Islam like over a month ago.
Yeah, yeah,
So he said that this one song was offensive because it said that God was going to eat
yeah.
someone's
I mean,
cooter.
it is a little offensive to like
It is a
people who
little
it
bit.
is offensive.
But I just simply took the same exact formula as, all the people who respond to my videos, and I was like, it's just a song, man.
Right, yeah, I get that, but I understand
Yeah.
why like culturally it's like a shift for like religious people. Like all of a sudden,
Oh yeah.
God, nobody cares about God, you know?
Well, yeah. It also was like kind of like I was just kind of in a place where I was like, it doesn't really seem to be like that way. And if people want to put it that way and imply the value to that one word in the song, all the power to you. But
And then you
I
put then
personally do not see reason to apply value to
and then
that
you said
word.
that Ariana Grande was a god, or God was a woman. I took offense to that more than anything. God's not a woman. That's yucky. Um,
No,
no,
God can't be a
she can't
lady.
be a lady. It's impossible. Who's would
It's
ever say that?
impossible.
Let me see. Oh, we've been on for a while. Let me try to wrap it up a little bit. I have a couple more questions. What do you think of Alluring Skull? Since I'm asking you, like, what do you think of everybody?
Oh, I love Jory so
You
much.
do. He blocked me as well.
Yeah, they've been going through a hard time right now, so I
He's
think they're
he's well, he blocked me on my first Big American Good account. So like,
oh
yeah,
like a
yeah,
while
yeah,
ago.
yeah. Well, I'm the thing that got him to block me on this one was because he's like, I forget what he said, but he basically said that like something like allowing trans people to get treated will cure being transgender or whatever. I was like, you can't. It's not a cure. You can't cure it. That was
I
like a
mean,
take
yeah,
like that, and you got upset because like I made a lot of. I mean, I made a joke about how like you can't be a he him lesbian, and then I know that there's a history of like
oh,
lesbians back in the day where they would
right,
identify as
right,
men and like, but still, to me it seems very
right.
silly because nobody's really using it. Nobody's. He was the only one who knew that from my perspective. Every kid saying I'm a he him lesbian never said that. It's always just like I'm trying to be unique. So I was like,
Right.
oh, I'm a she her like straight person. I'm a she her gay man or something, and then he got upset. But
Oh God. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've never blocked people for like making jokes about me. Well, except that one time. Um, but I've never blocked people for making jokes about me because I just don't really care enough.
I think they're funny if they're good jokes. Like Crazy Beard. I think you guys talk every once in a while.
Oh yeah, Crazy Bird. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. He might be the only one of the only people on TikTok I actually don't like.
Really?
Yeah, because I think he's very shallow. I don't think he understands. I think that he just says things that he doesn't necessarily understand,
Okay.
and I don't think that there's any depth of thought there. And when I got banned, he made some weird account that was like Father Gut, and it was 100% supposed to be like a caricature of me, which is fine. But he was like, oh, he had like a southern accent. He was a Trump supporter, and he hated women. It's like, yeah, I hate women. No, I'm just kidding. But like, it was like, I hate women and LGBT people, and I have plenty of jokes, but I also make a lot of content about like when I'm being serious. Like I make content on my page that like is validating of trans people. My
Right.
followers hate it. I don't care. Like I don't care what you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm
What are we
saying,
gonna do?
yeah, like no, but I'm saying the thing. Like I'm not just like a pandering to conservatives. Like people go like, oh, this is like this is. I mean, you could call me a pick me a liberal, I guess, but you know what I mean? Then like his caricature was so off, and then like we had a small interaction about how he said communism was the best way to go, and then I brought up universal basic income and like how it would be better to like reshape capitalism, our modern capitalism. And he's like, that's cringe because people will just increase the prices of things, and I'm like, that's your whole argument. We should have no I like the fundamentals of capitalism. So I was like, we should have no class structure that benefits people who are better for society. That makes no sense. I would argue that I would argue that in a softer capitalism, people who are poor would live better than the baseline in any communist country.
Right.
Because of technological advancement is pushed when people have an incentive to be part of that advancement. Like if you get paid the same being a janitor as you do with being a scientist, there's no incentive for you to be a scientist. And that's where I come from. Because even poor people in the United States, we have a big problem, but even they live better than like the middle class people of other countries.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and like honestly feel like that's because of capitalism,
Right.
fundamentally. I don't know if
Okay.
you've ever seen any of my UBI videos.
No, I don't think
You
so.
never, nobody sees the UBI videos.
No,
Do
they,
you,
they never come up on my following page either.
that's it. Well, I also spam so much stuff that like there's no way you could go find it.
Probably not.
There are days where I put 25 videos up. I don't care. I'm bored. When I would work, I would just sit there and make videos. I don't care. But yeah, no. UBI is the idea. I don't know if you know who Andrew Yang is. It's the idea of giving everybody $1,000 a month.
Right.
Just like from 18 up. That's it. That's the whole idea. And like I'm a huge proponent of it because it definitely like I think that we have a big class problem in the United States, and I think that the reason we have so much issue with marginalized groups is because they don't have enough money. Because in a capitalist
Right.
society, money is like the lifeblood of everything, and so like you have a lot of people who would like really greatly benefit from this, and like in any capacity, you have like really poor black neighborhoods. You imagine dumping millions of dollars a month into their community for them to like it would reduce poverty, obviously. It will reduce crime. It'll bring more businesses to the area, which will create more jobs. It'll allow people to actually open up their own businesses. It will incentivize people to work for a small business because now you're getting $1,000 a month. You wouldn't have to increase the minimum wage, so inflation wouldn't hit in that respect, which is also like an advocacy for smaller businesses. It helps pretty much anybody who is. You could say like anybody in an abusive household, whether it's like women mostly or men or LGBT people, escape that household. It's like a more comprehensive solution, you know, because to me, people like rather than setting up like a shelter for LGBT people, I feel like it would be better to just give people $1,000 a month so that they can run away, because
Right.
this way you don't have to like, because then here's my shelter in California. Good luck, Alabama. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's my thing. And like to me, UBI is huge. It puts value on like caretaking jobs, whether they're men or women doing like stay-at-home parental jobs. It puts more of a value on those. The actual inflation that would come from it actually reduces the amount of money that richer people have. You know, so
yeah.
like so it's like there's a lot of positives to it, and like I talk about so much because like it's a class solution, but it addresses systemic racism. It addresses the marginalization of everybody in some way. It's
Right.
not everything, but it's like a massive first step. Because there's so many LGBT communities of people who like they're let's just say they're unemployable. But like if they all had money dumped into their communities, then they would be able to create like a nice robust infrastructure within their communities, and they would be able to express themselves individually rather than having to conform the way that they feel like they would have to conform. As we move forward with technology displacing jobs, we're going to have to put more emphasis on people like wanting to live how they want to live rather than necessarily contributing to a society in a way they may not necessarily want to contribute.
Right.
So I talk about UBI a lot.
Heck yeah.
That's-
UBI is based.
That's my thing. I would honestly look into it. That's my huge when I become president. It's gonna be my first thing I put in is UBI.
Running for president.
Yeah, I talk about it a lot. People ask a lot of questions. They ask like about inflation and this and that and the other thing, and like I've talked to a bunch of people about it. I don't know if you know who Colin Politics is. He's like a younger
Oh.
kid. Yeah, I think you know who he is.
I think I know who I feel like he responded to something of mine and I
Yeah.
responded to him.
Even he's a little bit on board. I think he's
He
conservative.
is?
A little bit. A little. He comes to my server. We talk about it. He's a little bit on board. I'm the conservative whisperer. People,
You-
people don't give me enough credit.
You're
Um,
secretly radicalizing conservatives.
I consider myself like I consider myself like a new age conservative because I like the idea of smaller government. So like my thing is rather than increase education across the United States, if you can't really mess up a UBI, you just give everybody $1,000 a month. That allows communities to invest in their own education, let them raise their own value, and then increase their own property taxes to increase their own education, however they feel like they need it. That's my thing. So like UBI is almost conservative in the sense of smaller government, kind of, if that makes sense, because it's less government involvement, because they're not handling a situation. They're just cutting the
Right.
check and taking in the taxes. because that's my thing. Because I don't like small feel good programs.
Yeah, they don't actually tend to benefit.
I don't think so. I guess one last question. Everybody wants me to ask you about Nick Videos. What do you think about Nick Videos? Handsome or no?
Big videos. Wait, what was that?
Is it handsome or no?
Did you ask him about his dancing?
No, I said, is he? Do you think he's handsome?
Oh no.
Oh, that's not nice.
I mean, he's like a baby.
Anyway, he's like 17, yeah. But you're 21.
Yeah.
I'm 30. You're closer to his
Oh,
age
yeah.
than I am to yours.
No.
Yeah, I'm. What do you? Yeah, like I got 8 years on you. You're 4 years
Oh
there.
yeah, that's true.
Mhm,
I
yep.
can't do math, so
There you go.
it's fine.
Gotcha.
Math is hard. No, Nick Videos is okay. He had like that time where he was like super Republican, and now he like doesn't post at all.
Yeah, he was trying to become like he was trying to be friends with like celebrities or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he just stopped posting.
Yeah, I know that he has had a couple of inappropriate interactions with girls on the app.
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh,
the
yeah.
specifics, but from what it seems like to me, it is a very classic case of like just modern male and female interaction where you have a young boy, well, a young guy, he's not necessarily, well, he's a young man, let's say that. A young man who doesn't understand boundaries, and then a young woman who doesn't stand up for herself. In a way of saying, because everybody keeps saying, "I never said no," and I know,
Right.
I know, we get into this conversation about blaming the victim, but like hitting on a girl is very different from like assaulting her.
Right.
And so when we bring it down to that level, it's like you're kind of projecting like sexual assault onto like a normal dating ritual of like being aggressive. And like again, he's too aggressive. But
Yeah,
like just
he
say
is.
no, just say no. And I know that's like
Right.
hard, but I feel like that's like a strength that's left society. Mostly because fathers are terrible and we've had a whole generation of fatherless kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
That would explain a lot of
it
things.
does. I'm a very big believer in like masculine love versus feminine love. Like I think feminine love is fantastic building love, but only feminine love is very pandering, and then masculine love is like a breaking down love that like strengthens you, and then exclusively having masculine love is just very depressing. So like
Right.
they think that they and you don't, and like that's why I'm like I like the dynamic of like masculinity and femininity, and why I like even in gay relationships like having a man and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like the masculine love and the feminine love. I think they're very big balances. Because even in the workforce nowadays, we're having huge problems with younger generations, like not knowing how to handle stress because they're not used to like dealing with like adult situations. It's a
Oh, no.
yeah, it's bad. There's a fine line between standing up for yourself and just being a baby.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It is. It is bad,
It's bad.
especially when you walk into your local like TJ Maxx. You watch like the cashiers getting like verbally assaulted by middle-aged women and not being able to like not knowing how to handle it.
Yeah, see, that's bad. I feel so bad for them.
It's horrible, especially with like people not wanting to wear masks and them having to wear masks in the stores.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it doesn't. It's just so silly, especially since you can get a Papa Gut mask online for like $15.
Yeah, God, why you could do that for so easy? Why
Yeah,
didn't you do that?
Go, guys, go get that on Teespring. No,
Do
but
it.
it's ridiculous. People won't put a damn mask on. It makes no sense. My uncle is one of them. He lives in Florida and he just won't put a mask on
So weird.
unless they ask him to. Just like put the mask on. I hate it. It makes me angry because I was sitting in like a Denny's the other day, and like we're sitting at the table. You take your mask off there, but like there's a guy waiting for his food, and he just had his mask off, and I'm like, not to be sexist, but there's like 4 women there running the place, and like it's just like an angry looking white dude, and they're not gonna say anything to him.
Ooh, yeah,
You know?
no, I would be scared of that guy.
Yeah, right. So it's like it's like it's a weird power dynamic.
Right. Well, and then it's just like putting everyone else in danger too, and like it just makes you seem like if you don't like anti-vaxxers, it makes you seem like an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
Like you just seem so incredibly not wise.
No, I understand 100%. Okay, so everybody's telling me they want to play video games. You're welcome to play, by the way, if you have, yeah. But I don't know if
Don't
you
suck
had
video
any.
games.
You don't have video games. You don't play. You don't play
No.
Fall Guys. What?
I don't play any video games.
What?
I'm very lame in that way.
Right now I'm living the dream. I get paid to do it. Hopefully it lasts for a long time. But
Jealous man.
nerd.
Get wrecked.
Right. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on. It was a very nice conversation. Hopefully I can have you on again soon.
Yeah, of course.
It was a lot of fun. So
Heck yeah, thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, have a good one. Peace out.
Thank you, you too. See ya.
See ya. See ya at.
I want
Alright, guys, you
Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.